Hello. Today we're going to look at repotting plants. Now, plants in pots grow and eventually they will outgrow the pot they're in. So it's time to think about repotting. Let's take a look at this rose I have in front of me here. Remove it from its decorative pot, and as we can see, the actual pot it's in, maybe it's starting to get a little bit too small. So let's think about repotting, putting this plant in a bigger pot where it will have more space to grow and develop. Let's look at that a little bit closer. So here we have our new pot. Notice it has a hole in the bottom. The current pot has, in fact, a number of holes in the bottom. This is extremely important for drainage because most normal land plants like this will suffer if the soil is waterlogged. In fact, it will kill them. It's one of the things we need to keep in mind when repotting plants. So, what do we do here? Okay, we can fill it with soil, but in fact that's not too great for drainage. And of course there's a hole in the bottom, so probably most of our soil will actually start pouring out of the bottom, which is not a good idea. So, let's look at what we can do. Here I have some clay beads, which will act as a good passage for water below the soil. There'll be little holes between the beads, and that would allow water to pass through our pot. The only thing is, our little beads are rather small, and the hole in our pot is rather big. If we put our beads in there directly, they'll fall through. So I have a little trick that I use. In fact, I use this, a little bit of plastic netting. Now, where does this come from? I'll show you. These are grease balls that I use for feeding the birds, and they come in this little plastic netting. So I recycle it by using it in the bottom of my pot. I put it in the bottom of the pot, which stops the passage of our little clay beads. Now, you can pour them in quite nicely. That comes up to about here, and notice there's no beads falling through. So there, we've got our beads to allow for drainage. You could use bits of old terracotta, even big gravel, pebbles, anything that allows water to pass through easily. So we need to put some soil in the pot. This can be soil from the garden centre. You can mix a bit of well-rotted compost in there, a bit of well-rotted manure, anything to give your plant something to eat. One thing you need to ensure also is that the plant, where the neck of the plant comes out of the soil here, it is below the edge of your pot. We'll see why in a moment. So let's refill with soil and we'll see what happens next. One thing to remember, we need to pack down the soil firmly and ensure that there's no soil which is coming above where the rose came out of its original soil. This is what I call the collar of your plant, and we don't want to actually add any more soil there. So put your fingers in and ensure that we haven't got too much soil too high up the stems. Okay, and we flatten down around the edges. So few dead leaves, we can remove those. There we are. Now notice, as I said, the edge of the pot is higher than the soil. And I said there was a good reason for this. It's because simply when we water, we want the water to stay in the pot and not just simply flow over the sides. What else do we need? If this pot is going indoors, we need something under the pot. As I said, water will drain straight through, so we need something underneath to catch that water. This little saucer can go under the pot, like so, and now we can water it. To water, we water very much the base of the plant. That will allow the soil to settle and of course water the plant itself. And any excess water will be caught at the bottom in this little saucer we've put underneath. If there is water accumulated in the saucer, leave it for half an hour to an hour just to see if the plant wants any more, in which case it will suck up more of that water from the saucer. But after this period, if there's still water in there, throw it away. In my case, I throw it on the garden, and that's a little bit of extra water for the other plants. But we don't want stagnant standing water there below the plant, again for the reasons earlier I talked about having waterlogged soil. So there we are, that's it. We have repotted our plant. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I have a humble reminder. Always keep in mind, wherever possible, the 3 R's. Repair, reuse and recycle. Thanks for watching.